Hey guys, it's Steffi and welcome back to my channel. Today's video is actually super exciting because you guys commented and requested this video. So today I'm going to be telling you guys how to be aesthetic. And so before I get into it, basically aesthetic just means something that is pleasing to look at. So basically I'm going to be talking about, fashion, how to make your Instagram aesthetic, and just kind of stuff like that. So keep watching if you want to learn how you can be aesthetic. Also, I have all of my notes for this video on my phone, so I'm just gonna read off of here. So basically, starting off with fashion, the first tip I have for you guys is to first figure out kind of what your go-to aesthetic is. And so my tip for doing that is to just kind of look through your closet and figure out which articles of clothing you wear a lot or are your favorite pieces. And then once you pull all those out and set them aside, kind of look at them and figure out what the similarities are and kind of get a vibe of what aesthetic those pieces form. So an example would be if you have a lot of oversized t-shirts that you love to wear, if you have a lot of bracelets like this, and you love wearing sandals, maybe your aesthetic is more that, visco girl summer vibe. Or maybe you're really into tote bags, canvas bags, mom jeans, t-shirts, and you're kind of more of that art style. Another way to find your go-to aesthetic would be to go on your Pinterest boards and look at your dream wardrobe pages and do the same thing. Just pick out the similarities between all the photos and kind of get the vibe of what style it is. Also, something that I think is really important to mention is you can be aesthetic and change up your style. Like, you don't have to stick to one specific look in order to be aesthetic. And I feel like I honestly struggled with this a little bit because in TV shows, they always show characters having one set identity or one set style. And so I always thought I had to conform to that as well. Like an example would be Pretty Little Liars, how Spencer always dresses preppy, Emily always dresses kind of sporty, Aria is the more edgy one, and then Hannah is the one that's always, fancier and put together. But honestly, you can totally switch up your look, and that doesn't mean that you don't have an aesthetic, it just means you have multiple. So I'm gonna quick list off a few different aesthetics just so you get an idea of what aesthetics are out there. And like I said, you don't have to stick to just one of these. You could change from day to day, or you could even combine multiple aesthetics to form your own. So a few examples that are kind of popular right now would be, there's the e-girl style, there's the visco girl style, there's soft girl style, there's more grunge, there's cottagecore, art ho style, baddie style, and then the one that I think is really cute and trendy at the moment, which is called avant basic. So these are just a few examples that you can use for inspiration. So once you've kind of decided which category you like or which style of aesthetic you want to go for, I would recommend going through your closet and picking out whatever pieces match that aesthetic. You can also go to the store and buy some new clothes, but honestly, this isn't totally necessary because you don't need to spend a lot of money, or honestly any money, to be aesthetic. But if you do want to go the route of purchasing some new clothes, I would definitely recommend investing in. I ran out of storage, so I don't know exactly where I left off, but invest in a few basic pieces that match the aesthetic. So an example would be, if you want to go for that dark academia look, you could invest in a nice pair of knee-high black socks. Or if you're going for that visco girl vibe, you could buy a pair of Birks. Or if you're going for more of a preppy look, you could invest in a nice knit sweater. The next topic I'm going to cover in terms of how to be aesthetic is accessories. Because if you want to be aesthetic, it's not just about what you wear, it's kind of about those other accessories, for lack of a better word. So an example of this would be if your school supplies, so your notebooks, your backpack, and all of that also kind of matches your vibe or your aesthetic, So for example, if you're doing kind of the artsy style for your aesthetic, maybe you want to put some fun pins on your backpack, or I feel like those, I don't know how to pronounce them, Raven, those little backpacks that were super popular a few years ago. I feel like that really matches the artsy style as well. Or like I said, like you could design your notebook covers to match your aesthetic. And also your room. So obviously you don't have to spend a ton of money redoing your room, but you could even do something like DIY projects, collages. I actually have a collage video, how to make an aesthetic collage wall, so that's another option. I will link it up here. Even something as simple as changing your phone background or computer home screen just to match your aesthetic is one little way that you can be more aesthetic. Next, I'm going to be talking about Instagram, because you cannot talk about being aesthetic without talking about Instagram. So basically, these are just going to be a few of my tips for how I make my Instagram more aesthetic and more aesthetically pleasing to people scrolling through my feed or watching my stories. So my first tip is I switch up the types of posts that I have on my main feed. So basically, I'll switch on and off between a detail shot, which is kind of a closer up photo or a photo that's not really of me, and then I'll do a regular photo of either a full body shot of me or like my face, something like that, just so it's kind of an aesthetic feed, so it's a pattern on my page. So as you can see on my Instagram, I shift from a picture of me, then one of a disposable camera that's up close, then another photo of me, then one of some bracelets that's up close again, then another photo of me. So that's just kind of the pattern that I go for. But you could also do 3 photos in a row that you took at the same time, so it has the same theme to it. You could do 3 up close photos and then 3 far away. It's honestly whatever you think looks the best. My next tip to have an aesthetic Instagram is to pick a color scheme for your feed. And I honestly just chose to have a colorful feed just because I think that's the easiest for me to maintain. I usually wear a decent amount of color. I mean, right now I'm wearing this tan shirt, but I have the colorful bracelets. So basically, whenever I take a photo and decide to post it, I just make sure that it has a decent amount of color in it and it kind of matches along with my other photos. But I think it's also really cool when people have a slightly more neutral aesthetic, so their feed will be more browns or black and white or beige colors. I think that looks very cool as well. My next tip is to just post photos from your everyday life. Honestly, casual Instagram is very trendy right now, and posting stuff from your everyday life can be really aesthetic. So I like to post those more casual pics just on my story, and I'll post anything from what I'm eating, where I am that day, a picture of a sunset, the flowers in front of my house. I even did a picture of the Zara display and a picture of a bookstore. So you don't have to live somewhere super cool, super exciting. You can literally just take pictures anywhere and they can be aesthetic. Lastly, I'm going to be talking about editing photos to make them aesthetic. So for a while I was super into VSCO, probably because of the VSCO girl trend. I loved the C1 filter. It just gives me such good vibes. It's very fun, very bright. But now I've actually gotten into Lightroom presets, and those are really nice too because since they're pre-made by someone, you just have to paste them. You don't really have to do much editing yourself, which I like. And the ones that I use are Natalie, oh, I don't know her last name. Natalie Downey, okay. I use Natalie Downey's presets, and here are some examples of before and afters. I like it because it definitely changes the photo, but it's not a super dramatic change to where it looks like I heavily edited the photos. Also, let me know if you want another video that's just on Instagram and how to make your Instagram aesthetic. because I would love to film that for you guys. I have more tips for that as well, so just let me know. And that is it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and if you have any other questions about how to be aesthetic, comment them down below and I will for sure answer them for you guys. And also comment any other ideas you have for videos, because I think it's so fun hearing what you guys want to see, and it's so fun creating videos that I know you guys are gonna love. And I will see you guys next Saturday with another fashion video. Bye!